Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Always a pleasure to be back.
Today, we're going to be looking at something that I think a lot of our listeners are going to think they know, but we're going to be taking kind of a different look at it.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to be talking about Hajj, but not in the traditional sense.
Right.
Um, we're going to be looking at it through the lens of an exposition of the Quran
Okay.
called the Quran and Emmy.
Interesting.
And this is not a translation of the Quran, but really an exploration of the guidance in it.
Okay.
And it really takes Hajj and flips it on its head.
Okay. I'm intrigued already.
Yeah, and it really shows it as a call to action for social change.
Okay.
So I think this is going to be a really interesting one.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's interesting how this exposition, it really changes how we think about it because you see Hajj, it's often translated as pilgrimage,
Right.
but it actually means challenge or confront in the original Arabic.
I did not know that.
Okay. Yeah. And the article suggests that this challenge, it isn't about this physical journey
Yeah.
into, another place,
Mhm.
but it's about actually going out there and promoting God's system in the world,
Okay.
as was revealed to his messenger, Muhammad.
So instead of it being about like the rituals of the pilgrimage,
Right.
it's about something much more active,
Exactly.
almost like revolutionary
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
in a way to look at faith.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah. The Quran enemy, it emphasizes that Islam, as referred to as Deen Islam,
Okay.
is a socio-economic system.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not just, a religion centered on rituals.
Right.
And Hajj, in this context, it becomes a call to action,
Right.
a challenge to overcome any obstacles and strive for a just and equitable society.
So this is where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm already seeing, how this really challenges the conventional view of Hajj.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this mean for like the millions of people who undertake the traditional pilgrimage each year?
Right. And that's a really important point you bring up.
Mhm.
The article highlights that the traditional pilgrimage.
It is deeply rooted in Islamic practice,
Mm-hmm.
but it has significant economic implications.
Okay.
We're talking millions of people traveling,
Right.
spending, large amounts of money on travel,
Yeah.
accommodations, services.
Of course.
In fact, the 2015 Hajj industry was valued at over 8.4 billion pounds.
8.4 billion pounds.
Yeah,
Wow, that's a staggering amount of money.
it is.
So if the true Hajj is about, confronting these social challenges,
Yeah.
like this exposition is suggesting,
Mm.
wouldn't redirecting even a fraction of that wealth have a massive impact?
That's the question that the Quran enemy encourages us to ask.
Yeah.
It highlights the Quran's critique of these extravagant displays of piety
Yeah.
while poverty and suffering persist.
Mm.
Instead, it emphasizes, this concept of ihsan,
Okay.
which stresses, this balancing of society.
Right. And addressing the needs of the less fortunate.
So instead of focusing on, personal piety through pilgrimage,
Right.
the emphasis shifts to actively alleviating the suffering of others.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah. The article, it even highlights this Quranic term,
Okay.
anfaq,
Okay.
which refers to, the obligation to contribute financially for social welfare.
Huh.
So imagine if some of those billions spent on pilgrimage
Right.
were redirected toward poverty alleviation,
Yeah.
healthcare, education for those in desperate need.
That would be a complete game changer.
It would.
Instead of a journey to a specific location,
Right.
Hajj becomes this journey toward a more just and compassionate world.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, it becomes a challenge to confront, the real issues
Mhm.
facing humanity
Yeah.
and aligning with, the Quran's message of social responsibility and justice.
This is really making me rethink my whole understanding of Hajj.
Yeah,
It's so much more profound than just like a physical journey.
it is.
But how do we bridge the gap between this understanding
Right.
and the way that Hajj is currently practiced?
Yeah, that's a really crucial question,
Yeah.
and one that we'll explore further when we return for part 2 of this deep dive.
Okay.
We'll delve into the practical applications of this redefined Hajj
Okay.
and how it challenges us to rethink our priorities.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so we're back and we're continuing our deep dive into the concept of Hajj.
Yeah.
And before we went on, we were really talking about how the Quran enemy is really urging us to rethink how we think about Hajj and embrace, the true meaning of it being a call to action for social change.
Right, and we were just starting to uncover how, all the immense resources dedicated to the traditional pilgrimage could be redirected
Yeah.
to actually make a real difference.
In addressing, global issues.
Exactly.
The thought-provoking idea.
It is.
So if we're shifting the focus from inward-focused rituals
Right.
to outward-focused actions,
Yeah.
how does that actually, manifest?
Well,
So what are some, tangible examples
Yeah.
of this redefined Hajj in action?
Okay, so the article encourages us to really look at, the very real challenges that humanity is facing.
Okay.
Poverty,
Yeah.
lack of access to education and healthcare,
Right.
social injustices like dowry killings.
Wow.
These become the battlegrounds where we can confront these obstacles
Wow.
and strive for a world where everyone has, the opportunity to thrive.
So instead of focusing on the physical journey,
Right.
we're called to embark on this journey of social transformation.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, and that journey, it can take many forms.
Okay.
Imagine, for example, redirecting those billions spent on pilgrimage toward, building hospitals, schools, and underprivileged communities,
Right.
or funding programs that empower women, provide clean water and sanitation,
Yeah.
or, offer microloans to help lift people out of poverty.
Those are really powerful examples.
They are.
It really shows, how this redefined Hajj can just ripple outward, creating positive change that extends, far beyond ourselves.
Exactly. And it's crucial to remember that, it's not just about financial contributions.
Right.
This redefined Hajj, it asks us to be active participants in building a just and equitable society.
Right.
It calls us to advocate for the oppressed, raise awareness about, these social issues, and challenge systems that perpetuate inequality.
It sounds like a call to action on multiple levels then.
It is.
Personal, social, even political.
Yeah, definitely.
It's about transforming how we engage with the world around us.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Wow.
It's about, recognizing that our responsibility goes beyond our own individual needs.
Yeah.
The Quran NME, it emphasizes that true fulfillment comes from striving to create a world, where everyone can flourish.
This is really pushing me to rethink my priorities and how I can contribute to, positive change. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day,
Right.
But this conversation is a really powerful reminder that we each have the power
We do.
to make a difference.
And that's the heart of this redefined Hajj.
Yeah.
It's not about, passively accepting the status quo,
Right.
but about embracing the challenge to confront injustice
Yeah.
and actively work towards a world that reflects the values of, compassion, justice, and equity.
This is incredibly inspiring,
It is.
but it also feels a little daunting.
Sure.
Tackling these global challenges can feel a little overwhelming.
Yeah, that's a natural feeling.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that we don't have to do everything at once.
Right.
The key is to start somewhere, find our own, unique way to contribute to the collective effort.
Okay, so let's break this down, into something a little more manageable.
Okay.
If Hajj is about making the world a better place, what are practical steps that listeners can take, regardless of their background or resources? What's a good starting point for this redefined journey?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll delve into after a quick break.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll explore practical tips and actions that can help you, embrace this challenge and find your unique path toward making a positive impact.
All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into the true meaning of Hajj.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
It really has, and we've been exploring this idea of Hajj as a challenge, to confront real-world issues and work towards, a more just world as presented in the Quran NME.
Exactly.
But it's one thing to grasp the concept.
Right.
It's another to actually put it into action.
It is.
So where do we even begin?
You're right. It can feel a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
But the Quran NME, it emphasizes that every action, no matter how small, it has the potential to create these ripples of change.
Okay.
It's about shifting our mindset.
Okay.
From that, what can I get, to what can I give back?
I like that moving from a self-centered perspective to one that's focused on contributing to the well-being of others.
Exactly.
But concretely, what would that look like?
Well, it goes back to those, core principles we discussed,
Yeah.
ASAN, this striving for balance in society and in fact, the act of contributing to social welfare.
Okay.
The article reminds us that the Quran, as revealed to God's messenger Muhammad, repeatedly stresses the importance of actively working to ease the suffering of others
Right.
and striving for a fairer world.
Right. But those can feel like huge abstract goals.
It can.
So how do we translate those into tangible actions?
Well, think about, your own unique skills,
Mhm.
your passions, your resources.
Right.
Maybe you're like a gifted organizer
Right.
or a compelling writer,
Yep.
a captivating speaker.
Right.
You can utilize those skills to raise awareness about, these social issues,
Mhm.
advocate for the policy changes,
Mhm.
volunteer your time to organizations
Mm.
working on the front lines of these challenges.
So it's about finding our own niche, our own unique way of contributing to the collective effort. It
Exactly.
doesn't have to be this grand sweeping gesture.
Right.
Even small acts of kindness and compassion can make a difference, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like donating to a reputable charity,
Hmm.
mentoring a young person,
Yeah?
even just simply listening attentively to someone who's struggling.
Right.
These all contribute to building a more compassionate and supportive society.
This is so empowering.
It is.
It's a reminder that, we all have the power to make a positive impact.
We do.
It's not about waiting for someone else to fix things. It's
Yeah.
about taking responsibility and doing what we can right here, right now.
Precisely. And that's the beauty of, this redefined understanding of Hajj
Hmm.
presented in the Quran NME.
Okay.
It's a call to action that resonates, across cultures and backgrounds.
Yeah.
An invitation to become agents of positive change in the world.
This has been a really incredible conversation.
It has.
We started by exploring this concept of Hajj,
Mm-hmm.
and we've ended up on this journey of self-discovery and social responsibility.
Yeah, it's been a great journey.
And it's clear that this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
It's a spark that can ignite a lifelong commitment to making the world a better place.
Exactly.
And for anyone looking to dive deeper into this understanding,
Yes.
I really encourage you to check out the Quran NME,
Great recourse.
available at www.signet.co.uk. It's a valuable resource for anyone seeking a deeper understanding of the Quran's guidance
Absolutely.
and its potential to inspire us towards, building a more just and compassionate world.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with one final question to consider.
Okay.
If Hajj is about tackling real-world challenges, what challenge will you take on?
Yeah, what will you do?
It doesn't have to be monumental small start where you are,
Right.
but start today.
Yeah.
The world needs your unique contribution.
It's.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.